Imagine a world locked in eternal darkness. A world where nights are colder, longer, and deadlier. You huddle in a cave, your breath clouding in the freezing air, while predators circle just beyond the shadows. No flicker of flame to keep you warm, no fire to cook food, no light to chase away fear. What if humanity never discovered fire? Would we have even survived, or would our species have remained trapped in the shadows forever? Night falls. The temperature drops. The once bustling forest now hums with danger. You, an early human, crouch in the pitch-black silence of a cave. Your tribe presses close, bodies shivering, eyes wide, ears straining for the snapping of branches outside. Somewhere in the darkness, a predator prowls. Maybe a lion, maybe something worse. And you have nothing to keep it away. No fire to light the entrance. No flames to scare it back. Just fear. Fire was never just warmth. It was a shield, the single most powerful weapon our ancestors had against the wild. Without it, early humans would have been forced to rely only on numbers, hiding in groups, vulnerable to every roar and claw. Imagine every night as a gamble with survival. But the absence of fire was more than just physical danger. It shaped diet and evolution. Without fire, food remained raw. Meat, difficult to chew and digest, offered less energy. Roots and grains, inedible without cooking, remained untapped. Our brains, which grew larger thanks to the calories unlocked by cooked food, might have stayed small, keeping humanity at the level of other primates. Welcome to Before Flame. Fire. If you enjoyed traveling back in time with me, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you never miss the next journey into our ancient past. And the cold. During the Ice Ages, fire meant survival. Without it, tribes would have been forced to migrate endlessly, fleeing the frost, unable to endure the brutal winters of Europe and Asia. Vast territories of the earth might have remained forever out of reach. So here's the chilling truth. Without fire, humans may never have expanded across the world at all. We might have remained shadows in the African night, struggling to survive, never becoming the species that reshaped the planet. Picture a world where every meal is raw. Early humans crouch by a riverbank, tearing at tough meat with their teeth, their jaws straining, their stomachs aching. Without fire, they cannot soften roots or detoxify plants that otherwise hold hidden poisons. The richness of cooked food, the proteins, the fats, the calories that fueled our expanding brains, never arrives. Evolution itself stalls. Archaeologists and anthropologists believe that cooking may have been the turning point that separated us from our primate cousins. The human brain is incredibly energy-hungry, consuming about 20% of our body's fuel. Without the calorie boost from cooking, our brains might have never reached this size. Instead of Homo sapiens, toolmakers, storytellers, explorers, we might have remained closer to apes, limited in thought, limited in imagination. And think about community. Fire wasn't just about food. It was about gathering. Tribes circled around flames, sharing stories, teaching children, building the first sparks of culture. Without it, night would have been only fear and silence. No glowing light to push back the dark, no hearth to unite the group. Maybe even language itself, which flourished in these nightly gatherings, would have developed more slowly, or not at all. Fire was more than a tool. It was a stage for humanity's first steps into society. Without it, cooperation weakens, traditions vanish before they're born, and survival remains a lonely, brutal task. So when we ask, what if humans never discovered fire? The answer becomes clear. Without it, we may never have truly become human at all. Now, imagine the dangers that stalk the night. Without fire, the forest edge is alive with glowing eyes, predators circling, waiting for weakness. Fire wasn't just warmth or cooking, it was protection. Its crackle and smoke warned saber-toothed cats, wolves, and hyenas to keep their distance. Without it, every night was a gamble with death. Tribes huddled in the dark, silent and vulnerable, praying dawn would come before the beasts did. But the danger wasn't only from animals. Without fire, there was no way to harden tools, no way to forge weapons, no way to create ceramics to store food or boil water. Entire technological revolutions that depended on fire, metallurgy, pottery, even the wheel in its practical form, would have been delayed by thousands of years, maybe never invented at all. Humanity's progress would be frozen in place. Think of migration. Fire allowed humans to survive Ice Age winters, to venture into Europe and Asia, to cross frozen tundras. Without it, those journeys would have ended in frostbitten death. Our species might have remained confined to small, tropical zones, never spreading, never adapting. Entire civilizations, from Mesopotamia to Egypt to Rome, might never have existed. So fire wasn't just survival. It was expansion, innovation, civilization itself. Without it, the map of humanity would look very different. Instead of billions of us scattered across the globe, there might be only a few scattered tribes, struggling in shadows, nameless and forgotten by time. In short, fire wasn't only a discovery. It was humanity's first revolution, the spark that set everything else in motion. Without it, the story of us may never have been written. Think about your last meal. Maybe it was warm, cooked, and full of flavors. Now strip that away. Without fire, humanity would have been locked into a raw diet, raw meat, raw roots, raw plants. That might not sound so bad, but biologically, it changes everything. Cooking food doesn't just make it taste better. It releases calories, softens tough fibers, and kills parasites. Without it, every bite of meat would be tougher to chew, harder to digest, and far more dangerous. Worms, bacteria, and diseases would spread through every meal. Our bodies themselves would look different. Scientists believe that cooking was one of the reasons early humans evolved smaller jaws and larger brains. Fire gave us more calories in less time, fueling brain growth that made us smarter. Without it, human evolution might have stalled. Imagine us stuck with larger jaws, smaller brains, and weaker immune systems. Perhaps Homo sapiens, as we know them, would never have emerged. Then there's the social side. Fire wasn't just about cooking or protection. It was a gathering point. Around a fire, tribes told stories, planned hunts, shared knowledge, and passed down culture. Without that nightly circle of warmth and light, social bonds would have been weaker. Human language itself, which many scientists believe developed through storytelling and shared experiences at the fire, might have evolved slower or not at all. So without fire, we lose more than just heat and light. We lose calories, health, intelligence, and maybe even culture. In a sense, fire didn't just shape what we ate. It shaped who we are. Without it, humanity would be colder, weaker, and far less connected. Picture a prehistoric night without fire. The world is not silent, it's alive with predators. The low growl of a cave lion echoes in the distance, the howl of wolves pierces the dark, and the rustle of unseen creatures surrounds you. Without fire, humans were nothing more than prey with stone tools. Fire wasn't just a tool, it was a shield. Its light kept predators away, its smoke masked human scent, and its flames turned the night from terror into safety. Without it, humans would have been forced to live in constant fear of the dark. Nights would mean retreat, hiding in caves, climbing into trees, or huddling silently in the cold. Every step beyond daylight would risk an ambush. Think about it. Predators had night vision, sharper senses, and speed. We had only numbers and strategy. Without fire, survival rates would plummet, especially for children and the elderly. Then there's the environment itself. Fire allowed humans to reshape the world, to clear forests, drive animals during hunts, and expand into colder climates. Without it, vast parts of the planet would have remained inaccessible. Humans may never have reached Ice Age Europe or Siberia without fire to keep them warm. Migration patterns would have stalled, trapping us in limited regions where the climate was tolerable. Even basic survival would be harder. Without fire, water couldn't be boiled, meat couldn't be dried, and food couldn't be preserved. Disease and starvation would strike again and again, thinning populations. In fact, without fire, humanity may have never escaped Africa. The cold north would remain an impenetrable wall. So fire wasn't just warmth. It was freedom, the key that unlocked new lands and gave humans the courage to step into the night. Now imagine this. Without fire, human gatherings would end with the sunset. No glowing hearth, no flickering flames dancing on cave walls, no shared warmth pulling people together. Fire wasn't only about survival, it was about connection. Around it, humans told stories, passed down knowledge, and built the foundations of culture. Take away fire, and you take away the first stage for human imagination. Cave paintings, myths, and oral traditions were often born in the glow of firelight. Without it, Knowledge might remain fragmented, whispered in the daylight, lost when the sun set. Could humanity have developed the same sense of shared identity, of belonging, if nights remained silent and fearful? Even more, fire gave humans the power to cook, and cooking changed everything. Raw food demanded enormous energy to digest. Fire broke down fibers and released nutrients, fueling brain growth. Without cooking, human brains might never have reached their full potential. Perhaps we'd remain clever apes rather than the dominant species of Earth. But there's a psychological cost, too. Fire gave light in the darkness, a sense of safety in an otherwise hostile world. Without it, fear would dominate every night. Anxiety, isolation, and loss of community would shape human behavior. The mind that could have grown into curiosity and creativity might have been shackled by constant dread. Fire transformed us. It wasn't just about warmth or defense. It was about spirit, imagination, and the birth of humanity as we know it. Without it, we might never have developed art, culture, or even the spark of civilization itself. In many ways, fire didn't just keep us alive. It lit the path to becoming human. Picture this alternate reality. Early humans never learned how to control fire. The forests still burned with natural wildfires, lightning still sparked flames, but humans never captured that power. What would the world, and humanity, look like today? Without fire, humans would remain bound to daylight. The night would belong entirely to predators, and our ancestors would remain hidden in trees or caves, their lives governed by fear. Movement across landscapes would be restricted. Imagine vast ice-covered plains or dark forests that could never be crossed without warmth or light. Humanity's expansion across continents might have slowed to a crawl, or never happened at all. The diet of humans would also remain primitive. Without cooking, tough meats, fibrous plants, and toxic foods would stay inedible. Our guts would stay larger, our jaws stronger, but our brains smaller. Civilization thrives on surplus energy, and fire was the tool that unlocked it. Without that, we may never have developed complex societies. We might still be scattered bands of hunter-gatherers, competing for scraps with wolves, lions, and bears. And then, there's technology. Fire was humanity's first tool of transformation. From hardened wooden spears to smelting metals, fire was the gateway to every leap forward. Without it, there would be no bronze, no iron, no steel. The great cities of Mesopotamia, Egypt, or Rome. Impossible. The Industrial Revolution. Unthinkable. Even today's modern world, electricity, engines, and space travel, all trace back to fire's discovery. In short, a world without fire would not be our world at all. It would be a place where Homo sapiens, if we survived, would look and live far closer to our animal ancestors than to the modern humans we are today. Imagine human gatherings without the glow of a fire. No flickering light painting shadows on cave walls. No warmth binding families together in the dead of winter. Without fire, the very heart of human culture, storytelling, might have evolved differently, or perhaps never at all. Around the fire, humans shared myths, songs, and survival knowledge. It wasn't just warmth, it was connection. In a world without fire, nights would be silent and fragmented. Tribes might retreat separately into darkness, huddled in cold caves, whispering instead of speaking. Language and culture, shaped in part by communal fireside rituals, could have developed more slowly or taken a completely different form. The loss would extend beyond community. Fire also offered protection. The smoke drove away insects, the flames scared off predators. Without it, humans would remain vulnerable. Lions, hyenas, and bears would dominate the night, and humans would rarely venture beyond the daylight hours. Migration into colder climates, Europe, Siberia, the Americas, might have been impossible. Our species could have remained confined to small, warm regions, never achieving the global presence we have today. Even spirituality might have taken a different path. Fire has long been a symbol of divine power, transformation, and rebirth. Without it, human belief systems may never have embraced these metaphors. Perhaps our gods would have been shaped more by water, stone, or the sky, not the eternal flame. When you strip away fire, you don't just remove warmth. You unravel the very fabric of human society, our protection, our community, our stories, even our identity. The world without fire would be colder, not just in temperature, but in spirit. Could humanity have found another path without fire? It's tempting to think so. After all, humans are endlessly inventive. Maybe we would have relied more heavily on stone engineering, creating insulated shelters carved into cliffs. Perhaps we would have discovered natural fermentation and eaten only raw or preserved foods, surviving on ingenuity alone. But ingenuity has limits when nature's elements are stacked against you. Without fire, human biology itself might have evolved differently. Cooking allowed us to eat softer, more digestible foods, shrinking our jaws and freeing energy for brain growth. No fire means tougher diets, harsher chewing, and fewer calories absorbed. Would our brains have grown as large? Would Homo sapiens have ever become the dominant species, or remained just another vulnerable primate, clinging to survival on the margins of ecosystems? Even if technology advanced, the absence of fire would keep humanity chained. No fire means no metallurgy, no bronze, no iron, no steel. Tools would remain primitive, stuck in stone and bone. No fire means no pottery, no sterilization, no glass, no engines, no electricity. The spark that ignited civilization, literally, would never exist. And yet, perhaps the harshness of such a world would breed different forms of intelligence. A colder, hungrier species, forced to survive without flame, might have valued silence, stealth, and adaptation above all else. Maybe humanity would have remained small, scattered tribes, blending into forests and valleys, clever, but never dominant. In the end, the question is haunting. Was fire truly humanity's greatest discovery, or simply the doorway to everything that followed? Without it, the story of our species might have been not one of triumph and expansion, but of limitation, fragility, and what could have been. Fire was never just a tool. It was a boundary between survival and extinction, a spark that reshaped not only our environment but our very biology. With it, we mastered the night, conquered climates, and built civilizations. Without it, humanity might have remained small shadows in vast forests, clever animals but never rulers of the earth. The truth is clear: every step of our progress, from cooking meals to forging steel, from lighting cities to launching rockets, can be traced back to that first stolen flame. Fire wasn't only a discovery, it was the foundation of everything. But here's the haunting question to leave you with. If fire was the spark that made us human, what happens if one day we lose control of it?